Last year, Backxwash released God Has Nothing to Do with This, Leave Him Out of It, an album filled with dark and gloomy hip-hop and occult influences paired with excellent performances, which helped propel Backxwash into a wider audience. She released an EP later in the year, which I thought was great. So with that noted, for me, I was pretty excited to hear what she was cooking up, because her sound is pretty engaging due to part in the layers of ambition, experimentation, and the lengths she goes to that are constantly on display. And with I Lie Here Buried with My Rings and My Dresses, she delivers yet again. The opening Purpose of Pain is a tremendous way to kick things off. I usually don't remark on skits and albums because a lot of them to me just don't add a whole lot to the album experience. But here, the repeated sampling of this old whistled man spouting the purpose of pain over and over again at fractured and infrequent intervals actually made my head hurt with how nauseatingly oppressive it was. It was beautiful, for lack of a better term, and it being directly followed by the gravelly wail of the Banshee, which topically talks about the severity of something going wrong in your head and trying to remediate it with like drugs and prescriptions, is a fantastic way to tie it in. Then we have the title track, in which Ada Rook gives a throaty, scraggled, feral vocal cut that is satanic, to say the least. The gloom of the track is pitch black, and Backxwash's perilous performance is excellent. Terror Packets with Censored Dialogue talks about their experiences of transitioning over a shadowy beat, and just how rough it was with social and familiar relations. Censored Dialogue's feature is great, and the chemistry they share with Backxwash is something I would appreciate to see again. Might I add, I think the implementations of the vocal samplings and snippets across the album are incredibly well integrated, both on the end of this track and on the following In Thy Holy Name with Lauren Boesfield. The samples and snippets are excellent in heightening the impact and topical relevance in their installments. This is like Circle of Dust level proficiency in terms of utilizing snippets to accentuate your album. Blood in the Water is a skeletal yet dense minute-and-a-half track with a frantic flow and manipulated vocals on the back end. I especially adore the little vocal effects that are used to make you feel like you're trapped in a labyrinth. Song with Sinners with Ada Rook and Sad 13 takes an interesting approach to the topic of religion and its indoctrinative nature, not in the sense of belief, but more in the sense of belonging and instilling this sense of community, hence a lot of the notions about love and God that Backxwash uses. Sad 13 gives a meaningful contribution as she sings this wistful refrain amongst the shambled and airy production. 666 in Luxana has this African tribal-esque vocal sample that rides itself out for about a good minute before being cut and accented to the bumping drums. And the closer, Burn to Ashes with Michael Gio, is a hellacious way to end things, with how up in your face all of it is, with the scorching texture amongst the bludgeoning drums to the hyphy verses and manic send-off. It is a nice cumulative payoff for listening to the album. Really, the only track I wasn't all that into was Nine Hells. I do like the lyrics pertaining to somebody gaining power in their mind as a hellish deity, like playing basketball with the moon. But despite its interesting final moments, I didn't find the sound of the track to be fresh or all that distinctive from the rest of the track listing, which actually leads to an issue I had with the album as a whole. It is pretty one note in a lot of aspects, from the beat cadences to the texturing ideas to even the flows and verses. I do enjoy a lot of what the album has to offer, and I think it executes at a very high level, but they do share similar ideas amongst themselves, and I do wish personally that there was a bit more signature variety to keep each track's identity throughout the album's conceptual givings. But regardless, overall, this is another great Backxwash album, and also easily the darkest album I've heard all year. There are a ton of painful and hopeless moments across the 10 tracks, and there is not a ray of sunshine in orbit of this album. There are no happy endings or optimistic takeaways either. That aspect makes this truly a unique album experience that I personally rarely get to hear. I appreciate it a ton, and I am eager to hear more. Those are my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know down below, and I will see you in the next video. I'd give it a